Good day and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Call of Duty Vanguard beta, the differences between the beta and the alpha, and what we can expect going forward with the full release of the game. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video to support the channel. First of all, we'll talk about where we've come since the alpha. First off, in the alpha they showcased the new Champion Tale playlist, which is basically a series of 2v2 or 3v3 tournament style games in which you're given 12 or 18 lives respectfully, and are randomly pit against the other teams in 60-second deathmatches. Last team standing wins. You were very limited in terms of what weapons you could use, and any weapons, perks, kill streaks and grenades you did wish to use you had to purchase for the next round. There were several issues reported during the alpha regarding audio, aim assist through destructible walls and visibility issues, and when this playlist returned in the beta it was good to see that most of these issues had been, at least for the most part, resolved. And given that they are listening to community feedback, this does look promising looking onwards to the final release of the game. The beta allowed players to delve deeper into what multiplayer is likely to feel like in the final release, giving them a more diverse playlist featuring game modes players will be familiar with, such as Domination, Kill Confirmed and Team Deathmatch, and also introducing the new game mode Patrol, which works in a very similar way to Hardpoint from previous titles. However, rather than the zone changing after a set period of time, it's constantly moving around the map, which makes for an interesting style of play and results in much faster paced experience. As well as showing off the new game mode, they also showed the new combat pacing system, which will go alongside whichever game mode you select. There's 3 in total: Tactical, Assault and Blitz. Tactical is the standard 6v6 that players will be used to. You'll run into enemies regularly, however there'll be a chance to breathe between firefights. Assault is a balance between Tactical and Blitz. Features between 20 and 28 players per map, meaning it's a faster paced game but nothing too crazy. Blitz features 28 to 48 players per map, and as the name suggests is incredibly intense and fast paced, especially since as things stand they can currently play this on even the smallest maps. It'll be interesting to see if that remains the case, or if upon the full release of the game this combat pacing is only available on the larger maps. The weapon balancing in the beta seems a lot more polished than what we're used to seeing from Call of Duty titles. No ridiculous ADS speeds on snipers, more visible sway when you're moving, shotguns behave like shotguns, LMGs like LMGs, and it's basically the same across the board, which bodes well for a balanced game on release. That doesn't mean, however, it will translate to Warzone. I fully expect to see broken guns over there, however as far as Vanguard goes it looks as though they've got this part spot on. Another nice touch is the Destructible Environments, which although they're not as thoroughly polished as in other FPS franchises, the ability to partially destroy doors and walls to shoot through the smaller gaps rather than having to run straight into a room full of enemies means you can take a more tactical approach to firefight. There is also the new suppression system, which has been slightly tweaked since the original early beta release. Originally, the suppression system affected a player's movement speed while being suppressed or shot at, and if clipped, an outline of that player would show through walls. From what I can see, the mechanic has been tweaked, so there are no legal wall hacks anymore. However, suppression does still affect your movement speed, which seems like an attempt to make the game more realistic. However, we'll have to wait and see if they bring back the ability to see people through walls at the full release. It is worth noting there is a perk that nullifies or at least reduces the effects of the suppression system, which tells me that they'd have no intention of getting rid of it completely, but we'll get onto that in the next part. Now on to the perks. First of all, you have Ghost, which works exactly the same as in any other previous Call of Duty, which makes you invisible on the minimap to kill streaks such as spy planes, intel and the field upgrades. In this edition, however, it does only work while you are moving. Fortified reduces the damage taken and increases the speed of health regeneration from damage taken from explosives. It also reduces damage taken in general when you're mounted, crouched or prone. Low profile counteracts the piercing vision we were talking about earlier. The fact that this perk is in the game at all tells me that they are definitely just going to be tweaking the effects of piercing vision rather than removing it completely, so is something they should probably be looking out for. Survival training maximizes resistance to stun effects from tactical equipment and makes you immune to the effects of gas grenades. High alert works the same way as in previous Call of Duty titles, with your vision pulsing and getting a yellow highlight on your screen when an enemy is looking at you, the position of which varies depending on the direction the enemy's in. Radar makes enemies appear on your minimap when they fire an unsilenced weapon. That's right, similar to Modern Warfare 2019, firing an unsilenced weapon doesn't automatically mean you'll show up on the enemy's minimap. They have to be using this perk. Forward intel increases the area of the map you can see on your minimap and also allows you to see where enemies are spawning in from. Tracker, like in previous titles, allows you to see enemy footprints on the floor where they've recently been, allows you to see skulls where enemies have recently been killed, and also hides the skulls of enemies you kill from the enemy team. Demolition gives you an extra lethal on spawning, and cocked lethals show a trail displaying the path it will take once you throw it. Double time, again like in previous titles, increases the duration of your tactical sprint and increases your crouch movement speed by about 30%. Tactician works in a similar way to Restock in Modern Warfare and Warzone, however only affects your tactical equipment, allowing it to restock every 30 seconds. Finally, Overkill, which like all previous titles allows you to carry 2 primary weapons. Next we have the kill streaks, and yes, this game goes back to using actual kill streaks rather than score streaks, so there's no cheat in the system if you want more lethal streaks. First of all, for 3 kills you have Intel, which reveals enemies on your minimap for a short period of time, however unlike a spy plane it only affects the person who calls it in. For 4 kills you have a care package which spawns you a random kill streak. The spy plane, which works exactly the same as Intel, however gives the benefit to the entire team. Unlike Intel, however, this can be shot down. Or you could have the counter spy plane. That makes the enemy's minimap unreadable for enemy players, and again this can be shot down. For 5 kills you can have the glide bomb, which works in a very similar way to the Predator missile from Modern Warfare. A death machine, which is a minigun with explosive rounds. Unlike previous titles, you will continue to spawn with this until you run out of ammo. Or you can have the Mortar Barrage, which allows you to call in a series of mortar strikes at a marked location. And unlike Cold War's artillery strike, where you can call it in at any point on the map, for this kill streak you need to throw a flare, so you'll need to be relatively close to your targets for it to work. For 7 kills, you can have the War Machine, which is a semi-automatic grenade launcher. Similar to the Death Machine, you will continue to respawn with it until you run out of ammo. For 9 kills, you have the Flame Knot, which is essentially a Juggernaut from Modern Warfare, but rather than having a minigun, you have a flamethrower. You have extra armour and unlimited ammo, however once you die, you do lose these. Finally, for 10 kills you have the Attack Dogs, which for anyone who played World at War will be familiar. This allows you to call in a pack of attack dogs which will hunt down enemies for a set period of time. The dogs can be killed by enemy players, however one hit from them will drop a player, so expect to get a fair few bonus kills with these. Finally, we have the field upgrades. The supply box works exactly the same as the munition crate from Warzone and Modern Warfare. Dropping this will allow you and your teammates to completely restock your ammo and give you extra lethal and tactical equipment. However, the box is destructible, so any enemy grenades or bullets will cause it to explode. Armour plates allow you to equip body armour, which increases the amount of damage you can take before you are killed. The Goliath is essentially an armoured RCXD you can control for 30 seconds before it auto-destructs, however you can manually detonate at any time. It's also worth noting that due to the size of the damn thing, you can just run enemies over to kill them. The field mic reveals any enemies that walk nearby it on the minimap in a similar way to what a UAV would. And finally, dead silence, like in Modern Warfare, makes your footsteps silent to enemies, and the timer resets every time you get a kill, which essentially gives you the ability to constantly run around the map killing enemies potentially unnoticed. That's about it for what's new in Call of Duty Vanguard beta and how far we've come from the alpha. It'll be interesting to see what tweaks are made and what changes between now and the final release are made. If there's anything you'd like to see added to the final game or changes to what they have already added, make sure you drop it in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel to be notified when more content goes live. I'll catch you in the next one.